ووجدك ضالا فهدى.
Assalamu alaikum, brothers and sisters. My name is Asad. I'm a revert and this is my story. Before I was Muslim, I was a Christian. I come from a family line full of pastors. My grandparents were pastors. My grandfather is a pastor. One of my great aunts, she's a big pastor in New Jersey. And I was actually the next in line. I was very deep into the religion. Um, I try to live my life by the law, which is the Torah that consists of the Ten Commandments, and by the grace, which is of Jesus, peace be upon him, in the Bible. And I try to be the perfect Christian I can be, the perfect human I can be, because Christian means like Christ. So I try to be as much as like Isa Salam I could be at that time. But into my teenage years, the more I read into the Bible and studied, things didn't make sense to me. So at this time, this is when I had to find a new way of life or something similar to it. So what I thought about Muslims when I was that young and early into my teenage years, um, obviously being Christian, I really didn't have any knowledge of Islam, unfortunately. But based on the news, what I watched on the news and what I heard from people, my family on TV, I thought all Muslims are like terrorists and polygamists and just angry, aggressive people. But you actually need to sit down and talk to them to get to know them. That's one thing I learned over time. But my first impressions of Muslims as a whole and in general, always thought they were like very, very bad and negative people. And it was just very unfortunate that I thought that back then. My first experience with Muslims, I was about in elementary school. I had a good friend who's from Bangladesh, and every time I went to his house, it was like a nice, warm, brotherly feeling. And one time I went to his house to pick up something, and his area, like a 4 block radius, it was his entire family from Bangladesh. So when I went to his house, as soon as I called his name and the door opened, I'm talking about probably his entire village where he's from, um, came out and started saying my name and welcoming me and asking me to go play basketball with them and if I want to eat. So it was like a very warm and welcoming feeling. And just even seeing the neighbors down the street, telling them salams, and I'm like, what's going on? I didn't really understand at the point because I was very young, and but that was my first experience with Islam, and it was a good experience. So my next experience with a Muslim wasn't until about my junior year of high school, when the sister that was wearing hijab walked into my classroom, and I had interest in her, but she said I couldn't be with her unless I turned Muslim. So she started teaching me things in the Quran and Hadith, and I was very, very close-minded at the time. But as more she explained to me, the more open-minded I started to get. And at that point in my life, I was already losing faith in Christianity, and I was already looking into different religions, such as Buddhism, Baha'ism, things of that sort. But I always, always, always wanted to believe in one God. So in Ramadan 2011, I was seriously considering turning Muslim, but I didn't know how to. So I needed a friend, a Muslim friend. So a friend that I graduated high school with, I was told him I was interested in becoming Muslim. So that night he invited me over to his house, and he also invited another brother who has a similar story to me as being raised Christian, who was also a revert to Islam. And that night, he just started pointing out things in the Bible that were in the Quran about the next prophet and how the next prophet is going to be like Musa salam, and just things that in the Bible didn't make sense to me, that was mentioned in the Quran, and it made perfect sense. And so that night they invited me to Isha prayer, and so when I was in prayer, when I was in Salah, I started shaking and trembling and crying. It was just so new and it felt so good. But as soon as I went to Sajda, it was this feeling that like just ran through my body, a nice, cool, beautiful feeling. And I was like, this is a religion for me. This is what I want to believe in. But that night I told that woman I want to become Muslim. But me, really, I want to become Muslim to marry her, to be with her. She said, don't become Muslim to be with me. Become Muslim for Allah. Do it for Allah. So after that night, there was a 4-month gap between me struggling between Christianity and Islam. And a few times a week, the brother who reverted to Islam, he would invite me to his house and teach me things that were in the Bible, and how things in the Bible were mentioned in the Quran. Like it was predicting things that were gonna happen, and then the Quran actually happened. So at that point, I already wanted to become Muslim, but I was still hesitant. So one night I was invited to a dinner, and at the dinner there was a couple imams from a few masjids there, and the brother who was helping me, he told one of the imams, and the imam got very, very, very excited, and he told me that you can stand up now and walk out that door and die a non-believer. And that like gave me a nice push. It snapped. I was like, all right, I have to do this. If I'm ready, I can't delay it. Because if I delay it and die an unbeliever, it's not gonna end well. So after I said, all right, let's do it. My imam was so excited, subhanallah, and he went to a 3-hour lecture of how Muslims supposed to be and how we're supposed to act towards one another. And during that 3 hours, all I could focus on is that I really need to use the bathroom, like very, very badly. So, alhamdulillah, he finished the lecture, and we said, La ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna Muhammadar Rasulullah. And after I said that, it felt like this weight just lifted off my shoulders. It was the most amazing thing I ever felt. I felt like I lost like 100 pounds or something in an instant. It was the most amazing thing I've ever felt, and I started crying and getting real emotional, and even while, giving hugs to the uncles, they all lined up and giving me hugs. It was just like such great and warming and amazing feeling, and I wish I could relive that day every day. Like it was just an amazing feeling. And alhamdulillah, and I'm glad to be where I am today. So December 4th, 2011, I took Shahada, and that night I told my mother, and alhamdulillah, my mom's very open-minded and understanding, and she said, whatever you believe in, just make sure it's what you believe in. And my father, he's not very religious. He just said, if that's what you believe in, then that's what you believe in. And my grandparents, at first, they were very, very, hard and strict on me, and they wanted to kick me out the house, but now they just think it's a phase. But I pray to Allah that He opens up their hearts, and I just want to ask you guys if you can make dua for my mom and dad and my grandparents to find Islam. It will be very much appreciated, and I just love my family so much. I want them to go to Jannah with me, and if you guys can pray for me, that'd be much appreciated. So thanks for watching this video. It's been an amazing 2.5 years, and I hope you guys learned something from this video. And alhamdulillah, it's just been a great experience overall. I'm speechless. And assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
ووجدك ضالا فهدى